Hi guys, good evening, and thank you for inviting me to be here and tell you about the upcoming adventure. I will now share the screen so that you can see. You can request. Okay, send request. I have to send a request for sharing. Okay, I got the request and share. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
And yeah, looks good.
Okay. So this expedition with the call sign 3 Yankee Zero Kilo will depart from Cape Town on February 1st, 2026. We have an exciting website, 3yankeezerokilo.com. So if you're interested, we want to see more pictures, more details, all kind of interesting facts, or if you just get bored before you go to sleep tonight, take a look at our website, 3yankeezerokilo.com. So in a few words, it will be the expedition to a very far away place, the most remote uninhabited place on Earth called Bouvet Island. We will be getting there using an icebreaker, a large boat that can accommodate a helicopter. So once we get in the vicinity of the island, we're going to land on Bouvet by helicopter. The total voyage is about 5 weeks. It takes about a week to get to Bouvet from South Africa, Cape Town, South Africa. And then we hired the boat to stay around the island for about 3 weeks. And then afterwards, another week to go back to Cape Town, South Africa. So in total, the voyage will be about 5 weeks. We will be setting up two separate operating camps, about 15 to 2,000 feet apart. So that's on a nutshell. Well, first of all, before we go any farther, I should clarify where this island is located. Normal people wouldn't know where Bouvet is because it's a really a speck of land in the middle of nowhere. It's hard to find even on Google Maps. But it's located in the South Atlantic Ocean, about 1,000 miles north of Antarctica and about 1,600 miles south of Cape Town. Now, it's far away from everything. It's basically about 8,000 miles from New York and about 8,000 miles away from Europe. And our friends in Asia, in particular Japan, they are about 10,000 miles away from Bouvet Island. The lucky ones are, of course, those that live in somewhere in South Africa or the hams in Australia. But even so, it's still 6,000 miles away from Bouvet Island. A few interesting things. Even though it's in the southern hemisphere, believe it or not, it's a Norwegian territory. It was discovered by a French sailor in the 1700s. He sailed by. He probably looked at the island and said, "It's just not worth getting or stepping onto the island." But because he was the first one to discover it, he named the island Bouvet, which is a French name. The Norwegians in the beginning of 1900s, they were the first one to step foot on the island, and they claimed it for the Norwegian crown. Those times, a lot of sailors would travel the world in search of whales. So once you find a whale, you would go to some island and chop it off, and then once you've done that, then you go hunt for more whales. And so these voyages would take a few years until a boat will go or a vessel will come back to its mother port. So that's why in those years, uh, sailors around the world would go around and look for these deserted islands.
Adrian,
See,
are you sharing your slides? It looks like we're still on the first slide. Is that what you wanted?
no, it's at I'm on the third slide.
Yeah,
Um,
we just see the first one.
okay. What we're gonna do in this case, we're gonna
I,
share. Let me share the screen instead of the slide
okay.
because by sharing the screen, um, I would so um, I'm gonna share the screen and then if how does it look? Is it okay?
I see the first slide.
You see the first slide?
Correct.
What about now?
I see the second.
Perfect. So we're going to continue this way. So this is basically the slides that I'm showing you the distances to the other continents. It gives you the idea of how far this island is. It's basically far away from everything, and that's why the Book of Records have called the Bouvet the most remote uninhabited place on Earth. Quite a destination, I should say. So, one of the interesting things about Bouvet is the fact that it's covered 93% by ice and snow. So there's more or less nothing there except snow, as you can see on that picture. This picture was taken in 2018 by DXpedition 3 Yankee Zero Zulu that did not get to the chance to step on the island, and because of some boat issues, they had to return home. The island is basically a volcanic cone, and at its peak, it's about 2,000 feet, more or less. But the biggest issue with Bouvet, from our point of view of going there, is the fact that there are about 300 storms a year, and the winds reach sometimes during the storms at least up to 100 miles an hour. This is quite a significant issue, and that's what the main problem is with Bouvet. Although the island is about the half of size of Manhattan, you could not really walk from one end to another because it would be very dangerous. The underneath that ice and snow could be crevasses underneath, and that would be make it the trip very dangerous. It's one of the four Norwegian territories that are considered separate DX entities, and if everything works fine, the next one that quite a few of our team members going to Bouvet will attempt the following year in 2027, going to Peter the First. There are no humans on the island. It's uninhabited for good reasons, but there are a lot of penguins, about 5,000 of them, and lots of fur seals, supposedly about 65,000. Fur seals are quite an issue because they're carnivores and they're territorial. And so,
Sorry, Adrian, can you make the slide that you're presenting full screen? Is that possible?
is it not full screen?
Not on the presenter slide.
Yeah, you're not on the presenter slide.
Well, I was, but now I have the full screen, so that's why.
I see the slide, the preview and the notes. It's I'm not sure
Okay.
that you're showing me the right one.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. All right, so let me turn back to the sharing of the all right, let's try it this way.
There you go. That's full
Okay.
screen. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Okay. So I really don't know how they counted these fur seals. We encountered them. I should say that I was on Bouvet 3 years ago in 2023, and I can tell you that these fur seals are pretty aggressive. We attempted to avoid them as much as possible, and that's why that it's reflected in the way we set up camp, and I will talk about that in a second. Well, so far there've been 9 DXpedition to Bouvet Island. Most of them did not make a lot of QSOs. There used to be a manned weather station on the west side of the island, and at that time, some radio technicians that would come into to repair or maintain the weather station would do some ham radio. I guess not much to do there, so that was a welcome activity for them. And so realistically, only have been 2 large DXpeditions, one in 1989, which made almost 50,000 QSOs. That DXpedition was there for 2 months, December 1989 and January 1990. And the expedition that took place in 2023 made about almost 20,000 QSOs. The picture at the bottom of the screen is a picture taken from the Bouvet landing that took place in 1927, when the Norwegians were the first to step foot there. And one of the interesting things about this picture is basically that shows that it is possible to land by boat if you're lucky and the weather is on your side. The picture on the right is from the first Norwegian DXpedition that took place in 1977, and they landed in the same exact spot where we landed also in 2023, and also we attempt to land in about 5 months from now. Well, like I said, these are pictures taken by us 3 years ago. The penguins are very nice to take pictures of, but and they live in these huddled together. The reason for that is they are trying to protect their chicks. There are some big birds that have a very interesting approach of feeding themselves. They would pick up their chicks and then drop them off from a high altitude to the cliffs, and then eating them. And so the penguins are huddled together to protect their chicks. They are sitting there in a couple of feet of excrement, so you can only imagine the smell that it's among them. But one good thing about Bouvet from this point of view is the fact that the wind never stops blowing. And so if you're standing in the right direction, you would not have problems with being too close with the smell from the penguins. At the bottom right, you see pictures of these fur seals. They sometimes reach a ton in size. They are carnivores. And when the weather is good, the beach is large and everybody has space there. You know, we can land on the beach, but afterwards, when the weather gets bad, the beach disappears and the ocean water starts, the wave starts hitting the ice wall. So we try to stay away from them and set up a camp somewhere up the cliff, as I will show you later on. One of the main differences of this expedition compared to the one in 2023 is the fact that we will have a large vessel. This is a vessel under an Iceland pavilion and is retrofitted with a helipad, allowing us to land by helicopter. And that will make our life a lot easier. Of course, that adds up to the cost of the DXpedition, but you know, in life you can't have it all. So it's a large boat, can accommodate almost 50 people. We will be 24 operators, so there's plenty of space for us, plus the crew. And these people that we have hired, together with their boat, the crew is very experienced in doing expeditions in the Arctic and the Antarctic. As I said, a large vessel with diesel engines, and it will take about a week to take us from Cape Town to Bouvet. It actually can get there faster, but the faster you get there, the more fuel it burn and the more money it costs. So a good trade-off will be about a week journey, and that's okay. In 2023, the journey took a lot longer, which was almost 3 weeks. Big difference in this case. After being on Bouvet, we will return back to Cape Town. In addition, as I said, we're going to have helicopters. The helicopters are great because they can take a load that up to a ton or 6 passengers, and that's very convenient. We have about 7 tons of equipment, and so theoretically, we should be able to land quite a bit of equipment in the weather window. Weather window in Bouvet means that the weather is good for about 2 or 3 hours. You get these good weather window, basically, which are the quiet before or after the storm. So you get 2, 3 hours of good weather, then a storm for 2, 3 days, and then another 2, 3 hours of good weather. And so in those 2, 3 hours, if a helicopter can make maybe 3 or 4 trips in an hour, we have a chance to carry quite a bit of equipment on the island. It's a really, really complex undertaking. It took us almost 3 years of preparation. It's complicated because it has a lot of moving parts, a lot of equipment. You have to be able to survive on the island by yourself. No one can take you from there. No one can rescue you. You're far away from civilization. And if the weather is bad, the helicopter won't be able to fly. So we will have to have backup plans for everything from, food, water, fuel, and so forth. And so this complex logistics takes a lot of effort and time. In addition, these are large companies, and so to get anything moving, you have to deal with the legal side of the equation, which means contracts for everything, the vessel, the helicopter, the expedition support company that will manage things for us. We're ham operators. We know quite a bit about antennas and radios and propagation, but surviving in a cold climate like Bouvet, that takes a couple of professionals to teach us and show us how to do it. In addition, there are financial agreements with a private group, basically tourists that are part of our DXpedition. And then there's a team agreement between each and every team member. So this way there's no misunderstanding of what to expect. Remember, this is not a vacation. This is a lot of hard work and a lot of details that need to be taken into account. This is a map of Bouvet. It shows where the weather station is on the west side of the island. All the DXpeditions, or the prior DXpeditions, except for the last one in 2023, have landed on the west side. That's a very good area to land because it's flat, but at the same time, this is part of the national park or natural reservation, and so the permit that we received from the Norwegian authorities absolutely forbids us from coming or landing in the area. It was suggested to us that we'd be landing at on that bottom right corner of the island. It's called Cape Fear. It's the same spot that we landed 3 years ago. It's excellent spot because the wind always blows from west to east on that side of the world. And so being on the east side of the island allows you to be a bit protected from the weather point of view, to make our life a lot easier, but also to make sure that we fix antennas a lot less. This is a picture of the exact spot we're going to be landing. The main camp, it's shown there at the top picture. There's going to be a separate camp somewhere up the cliff, about 2,000 feet. approximately. That will be a camp that will be focused mostly on North America. If you take a look at the where the continents are at the bottom right picture, you can see here that it's very easy from our location to hit the West Coast, but for the East Coast, a bit more difficult, and that's why, as a novelty for this second DXpedition to Bouvet, we'll be setting up this second camp high up the cliff. We'll have quite a bit of antennas. In any case, the weather dictates exactly what we're going to be doing. The first helicopter flight to the island will be a reconnaissance flight. It will allow us to identify the perfect location for us to set up camp. And a perfect location means that we're kind of protected from the elements. We have enough space to put the antennas, and we're also in a safe location for setting up our tents. Our equipment have been mostly set up by K1 Lima Zulu Krasi, who is the technical lead of the team. The equipment was shipped from US, from Bulgaria, and also from Italy. This was equipment that was tested and prepared. Anything that has to do with radiating RF, it was prepared by Krasi and his team. It was, as you see there in the pictures, quite a bit of intensive testing took place in order to make sure that everything is perfectly prepared, labeled, and packed for the long journey to Bouvet. All this equipment that you see here has been, as I said, shipped from different parts of the world into Oslo in Norway, where our container is located. This container got filled up with all this equipment. It was quite a bit of work. The team had met in Norway 3 times, 3 different weekends, to prepare everything so that the landing on Bouvet can take place in stages. Basically, you would make sure that the first items available from the container will be the ones related to the emergency, then the tents, and then water, fuel, and then the equipment. So this sequence had to be properly designed and thought of. This picture shows our masts. They're about 30 feet high, and they're telescopic, and allowed us to raise them when the weather is good and lower them when the weather is bad. These masts are made in Italy. They're very reliable. They've been used for the WRTC in Italy a couple of years ago. WRTC, for those of you that don't know, is the equivalent of Ham Radio Olympics that took place in Bologna 2 years ago. These are some pictures of the 2023 Bouvet Island DXpedition. We have installed antennas, mostly verticals. If we follow the manufacturer specifications, these antennas will survive the bad weather on Bouvet. While we're there, we encountered 3 storms, 2 of them small ones up to maybe 50, 60 miles an hour, and we encountered really nasty one towards the end of our trip there. But with enough planning and attention to detail, you're able to erect antennas that will stay up in the air for the duration of our DXpedition. We will be using the same tents like 3 years ago. These are made by a Norwegian company. They've been tested and designed actually for the Norwegian government employees that are that set up camps in different parts of Norway, which has mainland Norway has similar weather with what we encountered on Bouvet. Again, this is a picture from 2023. ICOM is our premier sponsor. They donated to our DXpedition a lot of equipment. We'll have 12 ICOM 7610 top of the line radios. These are very nice radios. Allow us to have also ports for receive antennas and many other features. We also have 4 small 7300 ICOM radios. These will be used for FT8 and also as backup procedures. We're also going to have a satellite radio. This is a very popular radio and satellite system in Europe and the Middle East and also some parts of Asia. Will be for the first time when satellite QSOs will be made from Bouvet Island. Also, ICOM donated these VHF radios and also satellite push-to-talk radios that will allow us to keep in touch with the boat and also the pilots in the U.S. and also in Norway. Another premier sponsor is ACOM. It's a Bulgarian company that makes amplifiers. They provided us with 12 amplifiers of different sizes. We will use them so that our signals will be strong. The heavy-duty ones, like the ICOM 2020S, will be used for the low bands. We're planning to have quite a bit of presence in the low bands, which is where the demand is quite significant. For the high bands, we will have beam antennas, monobanders, and for the high bands, we will have for the low bands, I'm sorry, we'll have fiberglass poles. We'll use it for vertical antennas. We also have equipment for Foursquare, and if the weather permits, we'll install that for 40 and 80 meters. We have laptop computers, about 15 of them, prepared and already packed into the container. This is the setup for the satellite. It was tested by one of our team members, and the whole setup is already in the container waiting for the trip from Oslo to Cape Town, South Africa. There's a little diagram with the setup for the satellite. More importantly, we have food available there. Basically, we will have a lot of these little food envelopes called MREs, or meals ready to eat. Basically, you open up the envelope, you put water, hot water, you stir, you close it up, and 5 minutes later you have food that sounds very enticing, like a chicken primavera or spaghetti bolognese, and it tastes actually pretty good. They take very little space. All you have to do is not really watch or look at how it looks like. Our sleeping facilities are only matched by Hilton. Basically allow us to have up to 6 cots in these tents. We will never sleep all of us in the same time. As you can see, they're pretty crowded, but they're pretty comfortable. It allows us to actually, once you put your sleeping bag and lay down, you instantly fall asleep. As I said before, the expedition is not a vacation. There's always something to do, either repair antenna, make sure that the tent is erect, and you have to make repairs, prepare food, deal with the drinking water, with the toilet, and everything else. All this equipment was fit into a container. These are some pictures from the recent meetings in Oslo, where the team packed the container so that everything is prepared, as I said, for the journey to South Africa. We have quite a bit of generators of 3 kilowatts each, 3,500 watts actually. These are Honda generators. We also have a couple of small ones, the 2 kilowatts ones. You see a picture of the large ones there in the middle. We also packed toilets. One of the things that the Norwegians wanted to ensure before they agreed to give us a landing permit was that whatever we take on the island will be taken back, which means which includes human waste. And for 24 operators for 3 weeks on the island, that requires quite a bit of planning. And so the toilet, or the toilets, I should say, require quite a bit of planning and work as well. This is how the container or the logistics were organized. Basically, as I said, the equipment from USA, Bulgaria, and Italy will go to, or went already to Norway. Now, that container has the equipment which will be shipped to Cape Town. Once the DXpedition is over, going back and forth to Bouvet, the container will go to Texas and will be prepared for the next year, the following year, the expedition to Peter the First, which will be probably another presentation after the return from Bouvet Island. I don't want to go too in a lot of details, but safety is an important item in the expedition. We had to make sure that things were designed in such a way so that the team is safe in their undertaking. We had a couple of meetings of this. We have a safety officer in charge. Safety basically involves thinking of what to do, once you get on the island, depending on the weather conditions, what is allowable and what's not. Communication between team members using those Icon VHF radios and Starlink. We'll have non-stop internet connection, so most likely our cell phones will work there on Bouvet. You have to be very careful with the terrain. The island is littered with pebbles. We'll be setting up camps, the camps on the section of the island that do not have ice. As I said, we're trying to stay away from the snow and ice because underneath there could be very dangerous crevasses. In any DXpedition, the most important asset is the team, the people that get together and make the project successful. The team is made up of 24 operators. Each and every one of us is one or more tasks that we're supposed to be doing so that to ensure that the expedition is a success. Each of us has some kind of skill that differentiates from one another. Some are very good at logistics, some are good at raising funds, some are good at technical, some are good at computers, some are antenna experts, some are good at making presentations. We also have pilots around the world which are in charge of gathering the information while we're on the island and disseminating this information from around the world to let the team know the best approach to maximize the amount of QSO made. For example, if let's say people in the south of France realize that there's a good opening almost daily in 12 meter, let's say at 2 o'clock in the morning or whatever time, then the team should know this so that we can beam our antennas to that particular part of the world. As I said, we're planning for 24 operators. There's actually one spot available. So if you have about $20,000 to throw away, you want to give up 2 months of your life and you're ready to take a lot of pain for lots of pileups and cold days, this is the place to go. As you can see there, as I said, there's one more spot available. In the team, we also have 2 youth operators, Alex and Max. We are very happy to be able to have them as part of the team. Among other goals with our DXpedition, in addition to making a lot of QSOs, we want to make sure that the new generation learns about these complex logistics behind DXpedition so that they can take over in the future years. Alex actually works for the German Antarctic base, so he's definitely pretty familiar with the cold weather and what it entails. Max works for ARL, so he's exposed quite a bit to anything that has to do with ham radio and even more. To get such a project off the ground, you need a lot of sponsors. The idea is that if you have to purchase every piece of equipment that you need, you'll never able to raise enough money. And so we have these sponsor different companies around the world that provide the equipment. When you put it all together, it's exactly what you need in order to make those precious QSOs from such a remote place. You have ICOM that donated a lot of radios. DX Engineering with lots of equipment from cables to connectors to receive antennas, and it's a list of 3 pages of stuff that they donated to us. Arctic Lavo is the manufacturer of the tents. Rig Expert, an Ukrainian company, does excellent, makes excellent antenna analyzers. Acom, as I said, they provided our amplifiers. Momobeam, a lot of antennas. No point to go in a lot of details on each and every one of them. These are not even half of the sponsor that we have. One of the items that I really want to mention is organizations such as Northern California DX Foundation and Index, who both donated their biggest donation ever since their existence. Northern California Foundation has committed almost $200,000, and Indexa has donated $20,000 for this project, this really expensive project. What does that mean by expensive? Well, if you look at the numbers on this slide, the budget is the whopping $1.7 million. Just saying the numbers gives you the creeps, basically. It will probably be one of the most expensive, if not the most expensive, DXpedition ever. There's absolutely no way to raise that kind of money. Of course, the team member put almost from their own pockets, almost $500,000. We have, as part of the team, a private group, 3 tourists, let's call them. They are paying more or less about half of the price of this estimated budget, almost around $800,000. And the difference, which is a few $100,000, it was covered by NCDXF, Indexa, radio clubs from around the world, just like your club, and operators from around the world. People that want to see this project, amazing project, come to life. So far we have raised a little bit over 1.5 million. And so although this is an impressive amount of money, we still are looking to raise some more funds. So every dollar counts. If you have the time and desire, take a look at our website, 3yankee0kilo.com. And we thank you in advance for your support. In any case, we're looking forward to give as many old-time nuances as possible. We're trying to make a real damage in the low bands and hopefully make a lot of QSO to justify the large budget. I could talk about this project for hours, but I think the best approach would be for me to stop the slides and give you the microphone so that you can ask any questions that you might have. I'll be glad to give you a lot of details. For me, this is the expedition number 37. So I've been to a lot of projects. I've been to a lot of the expeditions, and I know what's involved, but not everyone around uh, is familiar. So please feel free to ask any questions you might have.
All right. Thank you very much, Adrian. We appreciate your time. Does anybody have any questions for Adrian? Hold on a second.
Hello, Adrian. This is Bruce, K1BG. You talked a little bit about safety. Can you tell us what kind of medical facilities are on the ship, and what kind of, do you have doctors, nurses, EMTs, those kinds of things in case an unfortunate accident does happen?
All right, good question regarding safety and medical facilities. The vessel that we are hiring is they are experts in these type of undertaking. They are basically, that's what they do. They have medical facilities on board and trained personnel, and we'll be taking full advantage of those. We also have a medical personnel on standby via the satellite phones. And we also have medical supplies, significant medical supplies of all kinds that we're taking aboard with us. One of the things that I do have to stress out is the reality of things, in a sense that they're very in case of a major incident, there's not much a doctor can do. If you have a heart attack and you're 7 days away from the closest hospital, a doctor maybe will get you back on track for a few hours, but if you have something that requires significant medical attention, there's not much this can be done. We're basically on our own. Bouvet Island is difficult to get to because it's outside the shipping lanes, which means that there are no boats that just pass by Bouvet and they're away to somewhere else. It's 3 years ago, on our 2 months journey to Bouvet, we have not encountered not even one boat during that 2 months journey. The first boat we saw was when we left the Falkland Islands, and the next one was when we arrived in Cape Town. So it's a desert, and of course our medical facilities are good for the basic medical procedures. If you have a diarrhea, or you have an infection, or you have a cut, or maybe if you broken a leg, we could you can do that. But significant items or issues that we could encounter, those the doctor won't be that much useful. We are paying attention, and of course we've been there already 3 years ago. 4 of our team members from the new team were part of the previous project, and so we learned a lot what works and what doesn't. And that's why we have a designated safety officer who will approve every move that the team is making. Is it safe to put this antenna now? Is it okay the tent to be installed this way, and so forth? Because preventing accidents is a lot more important than fixing things afterwards.
Thank you.
Anybody else with any questions for Adrian? Okay.
Yes. Hi, Adrian. Jim, AB1WQ. Just curious what the indoor and outdoor operating temperatures are when you're on the radio. What sort of ambient environment do your operators expect to find? And again, what's the daytime highs and lows?
So the temperatures inside and outside the tent. In short, the operating tent is the same temperature inside and outside, which is more or less hovering around the freezing point, water freezing point. The sleeping tent as well, it's not heated for safety reasons. We require each and every team member to have a certain type of gear. You have to have a sleeping bag that allows you to be comfortable if the temperatures are, 20 or 30 degrees below the freezing point. Now, the temperatures are actually not a big inconvenience. The tent they used for we're going to have our meals and our congregating tent that will be heated up. It will be the same heating that's used for boiling water and warming up the food. But the biggest issue on Bouvet is the wind. The wind never stops. So a good day means that the wind is only around 20 miles an hour. And then you get a regular storm, let's call it, where the wind goes up 30, 40 miles an hour. And then from time to time, you get these crazy storms where the wind reaches, 60, 70, even more miles an hour. And the biggest issue is making sure that your tent, which is your main surviving equipment, stays up. And we put a lot of thought into that. Basically, the tent is anchored into the rock. We are drilling into the rock and have anchors that will not come out. And that if the tent stays up, everything else is fixable. Depending on the temperature, you get either snow or slit or plain rain. But as I said, the temperatures at the time period that we're going in February, which is the middle of the summer in the southern hemisphere, so the temperatures are more or less around the freezing point. And so that's basically in a nutshell.
Thank you. And do you want to say a few words about the effort required to get the antennas set up?
To set up the antennas, it will be made, the antennas will be set up in stages. Obviously, you need good weather so that it's safe to install. We will start with a few fiberglass poles, which are easier to install. And as the time goes, then we have these aluminum masts. They're about 30 feet high, but they are telescopic. So when they're lowered, allows you to put the antenna. You guy wire them. We will be drilling into the rock. We have anchors made up of rebars. So we drill into the rock, you anchor it, and then once you put the antenna up, then you raise it and set up additional anchors. We have Kevlar wire for the vertical antennas. It will be a challenge to put a 160-meter antenna. We have a 20-meter long fiberglass pole, and we will attempt to do that for 160. If that breaks, we're gonna put a smaller one. If that breaks, we have a lot of spares. But based on our previous experience, if we follow the exact manufacturing requirements, they will stay up for the duration of the DXpedition. So again, the priority, the way it's going to happen is everything will be in stages. First stage is a helicopter site survey, which will allow us to decide where the two camps will be set up. Then we start putting up the tents. We'll bring some emergency equipment, and then the survival stuff like water and fuel and so forth. And then we'll stop putting antennas, and as the time goes, we keep adding antennas, but also try to go in the air as soon as possible. We have different scenarios based on the weather that we encounter. In the best case scenario, we'll have 6 stations in each of the 2 camps. and of course the antennas that go with those 6 stations. If things are working right, we could be in the air on the same band from both cams. For example, one cam could do 20-meter SSB and the other one could do 20-meter CW or FT8. And so we want to maximize the amount of QSO that we make.
Super. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah, hi, Adrian. Leo, K1LK. You prepare all the equipment, get everything packed. Is there anything special you do to prepare yourself physically and mentally for this? I mean, this is quite an undertaking for the normal Joe, so to speak, to be out. I don't know if there's anything special that you do, let's say, to prepare yourself and the other operators.
All right, so how we prepare ourselves. Well, first of all, we have a requirement. Before anyone joins the team, we have a very strict interview. We want to make sure that everyone that joins the team is aware that this is not a vacation, is not even a regular DXpedition. This is not like going to the Caribbean where you fly, put up some antennas and then have a hot shower in the hotel. And so the point is that everyone knows what's involved. Each and every one of us has to train and be in good shape. In addition, our team doctor has to vet each and every one of us. If you are not in a good shape, this is not a good place for you to go. Again, we learned quite a bit from this point of view in our previous DXpedition to Bouvet. We learned what works and what doesn't. We impose in a very strict list of what each and every team member has to bring, what kind of underwear, what kind of outside layers, what kind of caps and gloves and so forth. We are not taking any chances when it comes to that. In addition, as I said, each and every one of us has to train so that they could be fit when it comes to the expedition. I myself try to lose a bit of weight and do some extra exercising, mostly by putting a lot of antennas. That requires quite a bit of a physical effort. But again, each and every one of us in the team was chosen in such a way so they're in good shape.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions?
Just hold it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Adrian, this is Mary, N1RKO. You've spoken to our club up in the White Mountain Amateur Radio Club, and I am getting in touch with you soon. The one that you did before, you were setting up a lot of ropes and rigging and stuff to get your equipment up that cliff. Are you bringing it all in by helicopter now, or are you still going to do the ropes and whatnot to get things up there?
Yes, the main difference between the previous DXpedition and this one is the fact that all the equipment will be brought up by helicopter equipment and people. We do have a backup plan. If the weather is bad and we are stuck on the island and the helicopter doesn't fly, we have a backup with using vessels, Zodiac type of boats to evacuate the island. Also, if the weather is bad for a very long time and we cannot land on the island, we will be doing the same as before. Actually, this DXpedition started at the moment when we were able to find a private party willing to subsidize more or less half of the price of this DXpedition. At the moment you hire a vessel large enough to carry a helicopter, the price becomes, untouchable. $1.7 million is quite a bit of money. And so because we're able to find ways to finance this DXpedition, that's how it all started, by us thinking, okay, in this case, we can afford to bring a helicopter. And by using a helicopter, you are now looking at the project in a totally different way, in the sense that weight is not an issue anymore. You can take, in 10 flights, you can actually get to the island with both people and equipment. And considering a flight is about, 15 minutes, 10 flights will mean, maybe 3 hours or so approximately. And so new opportunities arise. That means we now have large monobanders, antennas. We can have significant more equipment and antennas. So we're hoping to do a lot better at this time by making a lot more QSOs.
So you don't have to do all that fancy climbing up the cliff and all that.
No, the helicopter will land right on the cliff, basically. Like I said, it will be a reconnaissance flight first, because the island is being shaped by the weather from year to year. We have some recent pictures, and we see that even the area where we landed before looks totally different today. And so the first helicopter flight more or less will decide exactly where we're going to go and what we're going to do.
Okay, so you're going into there. And then the last time you actually had to leave the island and you were operating out of the boat?
No, we never
Did I
operated
get-
from the boat. No.
I thought you had, okay.
No, we
Just
so
understood.
basically after 10 days in a previous attempt, in short, the idea was we got on the when the island with very little equipment, with the approach by swimming basically. And so we said we're going to go in the air, and when the good weather shows up, then we're going to bring more equipment. Unfortunately, the good weather showed up after 10 days. And so the captain said it's a big opportunity. I think a 6 to 8 hour weather window when the weather is good, So the captain said you have two options. You either use this opportunity to get out, or use this opportunity to bring more equipment and then hope that one day soon you're going to get another good weather window. So after 10 days on the island, we decided to leave.
Thank you.
Anybody else? A question for Adrian? Okay, Adrian, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and good luck with your DXpedition.
Thank you so much for having me. Good luck from New York, and hopefully I'll see you, each and every one of you, in the pileups in less than 6 months. So hopefully we'll be on the air second week of February.
I'll be looking for you. Thanks.
73, all the best.